Did you know that there is a whole other way to watch entertainment without using a screen? This is the Ivoryton Playhouse, and its history is pretty interesting. Its connection to fame, its future, and of course recent events, but no matter which way you look at it, the Playhouse is always changing. Now, let me introduce you to the people behind the scenes who work there, and we will talk all about the Ivoryton Playhouse.
Hi, my name is Jackie Hubbard, and I'm the Artistic Director at the Ivoryton Playhouse. It was built in 1911 as a community hall for the factory workers of the piano factory, which is just down the street. And it remained a community hall from 1911 up until 1930, when the demand for pianos had gone down because of radio, because of movies, because of all kinds of other things and other ways that people could get their entertainment. There was not such a great demand. And so the community hall, the factory eventually became smaller and smaller till it eventually closed down, but it stopped being used as a community hall. And in 1930, a stage manager from New York was passing through. He was actually recuperating from a bit of a strenuous summer, and he saw the building and he rented it. And it was from that point on, 1930, it was a theater, a summer theater. In 1931, he formed the New York Players. And that was a small group of actors that he brought up from New York to do a summer season, I think of 5 plays. They had very quick turnarounds. That was the same season that Katherine Hepburn, who was a very young woman at the time, was hired to be the ingenue, or the young girl in the cast. But Katherine was a formidable young woman, and she insisted on playing a leading lady. And so Milton Stiefel was the name of the man who started the theater, agreed to let her do it for one show because she said, my father is a very well-known doctor in Hartford, and he will fill your theater with an audience because you don't have an audience right now. And so Milton gave her a chance, and her father came through and did fill the theater, and of course we all know what happened to Katherine after that. She took off to Hollywood, and even though she was supposed to be here the next summer, 1932, she was booked for other shows. Hollywood had already called. So yeah, so that was the first year. From the year 2000, 1999 to 2000, when we actually were able to apply for and receive a loan from the U.S. Department of Agriculture. And that was matched by funding from the Department of Economic and Community Development. And we raised enough money to build the dressing rooms, which I showed you in the basement, because prior to that, it was just a nasty old basement. We were able to paint the theater. It had been sort of khaki-colored walls. We were able to purchase new seats. The old seats were sort of wooden pews that all connected together and were very, very uncomfortable. We put in an air conditioning system. We put in a new sound and lighting system, because anybody who's involved in the arts at all knows that technology in this business changes very quickly, and what is state of the art one year is soon absolutely useless the next. So we did an awful lot to the building in 2000 and 2001. Well, a couple of things. One is that it is the heart of the village of Ivoryton. It's the economic driver for the town. In fact, a lot of businesses, as we grew, the businesses around us grew. The theater is small, so we're never going to get rich doing this, but that is a disadvantage and a huge advantage, because when you come to see a play in Ivoryton, you are very much part of the action. You are not just watching a spectacle, you are participating in it. So An experience of a play in Ivoryton is very different to an experience of a play in a larger theater.
So the next person I talked to was Krista May, and she basically works on all the business side of the Playhouse.
My name is Krista May. I'm the managing director here at Ivoryton Playhouse, and this is my 13th season with the theater. Well, where Jackie Hubbard is on the artistic and the producing side, I do more the business side. So I set the budgets and sponsorships, corporate sponsorships. I write grants to bring money into the theater. So when I first got here, this was about an $800,000 company. And before COVID, we were up to $2.3 million. And we are really hoping that this year we'll be back up to that level. What I enjoy a lot is that it's a different business every show. We do 6 main stage productions a year between musicals and comedies and dramas, and each one has its own cast, has its own marketing plan, and that's what's really interesting to me, because we're running kind of 6 different, completely different businesses each year. It absolutely is, and it's an economic driver too. We take our partnership with the community very seriously. We see ourselves as probably the biggest economic driver for the town. We're also a tourism destination, so we have people come in from Massachusetts, New Jersey, Rhode Island. We have bus trips come in, so we're bringing people in for all the restaurants and gather down the street. We have a radio station in town now. And our version of our thought of community is extended into what we can provide nonprofit groups. And they raise money for their groups, and we feel like we're partners with them in the community as well. So we take our stewardship and what we can offer the community very seriously, and we are very generous with our resources. I think we have worked very hard, Jackie Hubbard especially, for going on 30 years now, to build a very solid foundation for Ivoryton Playhouse. If there's one thing we're most proud of, is that we've done that. And surviving COVID, you know, a lot of theaters did not survive COVID. Businesses, restaurants, everybody knows someone that was negatively affected by that. And we worked really, really hard to make sure that Ivoryton Playhouse would be here for at least another generation after the pandemic. And we've done that. We've survived. So I think we're a very, very strong foundation going forward. We have a strategic plan that we're working on that will take us into 2030, hopefully. I think Ivoryton Playhouse is the place to be.
Yeah, come and see a show, because that's the only way you can really understand this place. Is you need to come here, you need to experience what it is to be in a live theater, especially if you have never been, because live theater is one of the few spaces now that we as humans can share an experience together, aside from a ball field. We're all breathing in and out at the same time. We're all feeling the same emotions at the same time. There's nothing quite like laughing together or crying together. It is a cathartic experience.
I think Ivoryton Playhouse really is a treasure. I think it's an historic treasure for Connecticut, but I think Ivoryton and Essex are some of the most beautiful places, and I think anybody that comes here will be enriched through their experience of theater, but also in enrichment of visiting this area. So I would encourage everybody to pop down to Ivoryton.